You're standing in the kitchen at a mutual friend's place and she laughs at something you said, then looks away half a second slower than she needs to. You clock it. You wonder if that half second meant something or if you're the only person in the room turning a laugh into a full investigation. Later that night, you're staring at your phone, rereading a text 3 times, trying to find the version of it where she's actually interested and not just being polite. That's the trap. You start treating every glance and every reply time like evidence in a case you're quietly building against yourself. And here's what it costs you. The more time you spend decoding her, the less present you are for the actual person standing in front of you, and she can feel the difference even if she can't name it. So here's the promise of this video. Once you understand how women actually process attraction and decisions, you stop guessing and start becoming the kind of man that decision quietly favors. Most men assume women decide the way men are taught to decide, by running through a checklist: job, height, humor, effort. But research on attraction says otherwise. What predicts whether she stays interested isn't the list she'd hand you if you asked her directly. It's how she feels in your company, moment to moment, when nothing is being performed for her at all. You've been told to ask deeper questions, show more vulnerability, build attraction through consistent effort, showing up, texting back fast, remembering the small details she mentioned once. None of that advice is wrong in theory. The problem shows up the moment it's used like a technique instead of something you actually mean. Take a guy who read that vulnerability builds connection, so he shares something heavy on a second date, watching her face for the reaction he was told to expect. She feels the calculation behind it before she feels the honesty in it. That's the part nobody warns you about. Technique has a texture, and people can feel it under their skin before they can explain why something felt slightly off. Here's the misunderstanding, sitting at the center of almost every conversation about connection. Men think it's built by saying the right things in the right sequence, like there's a formula that unlocks her interest once you get the wording correct. But a woman doesn't fall for a transcript. She falls for how she felt while she was in it. You can check every box on paper, the career, the right answers to her questions, and still watch her pull back afterward, because none of those boxes were ever what she was actually responding to. She was responding to whether the conversation felt alive or felt rehearsed, and that's a far harder thing to fake than most men assume. Some men hear that and swing too far the other way. They stop asking real questions and start interviewing her instead. 3 questions in a row with nothing offered about themselves in between, trying to look mysterious by giving nothing away. She starts to feel like she's being screened for a role rather than getting to know someone. Mystery isn't the same as distance, but from the outside they can look identical. When you go quiet to seem intriguing, she doesn't feel curiosity, she feels shut out, and the woman who feels shut out doesn't lean in. She starts looking for the exit, checking her phone, glancing toward her friends across the room. Here's the real obstacle underneath all of it. It isn't your personality, and it isn't your effort level. It's that you're scanning her reactions in real time, monitoring every micro expression for a verdict. Take 2 men sitting across the same woman, laughing at the same story she just told. One of them is fully present, actually amused by the joke. The other is technically laughing at the right beat, but half his mind is checking whether the laugh landed the way it should, whether she's warming up yet. She can't always name the difference between them out loud, but she feels it, the same way you'd feel it if someone talking to you kept glancing at the door instead of at you. There's a finding in relationship research that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it, because it contradicts nearly all conventional dating advice. It turns out the traits people say they want on a questionnaire barely predict who they actually end up attracted to once they're sitting across from them in real life. The list and the reality split apart almost every time it's been tested. I'll walk you through exactly what that means for you and how to use it. But first, I need to show you what's quietly getting in your way before any of this can work. If this is already hitting home for you, this is exactly the kind of thing we break down every week here, so it's worth sticking around. Here's the one shift that changes everything. Stop trying to make the interaction go well. Start trying to find out whether you actually like her. That single reframe moves you from performer to observer. A performer needs a verdict by the end of the night, some sign that he passed. An observer is just paying attention, noticing her sense of humor, noticing whether the conversation genuinely interests him without needing anything back in return. That's a completely different energy to sit across from, and it's rare enough that most women notice it within the first few minutes. Think about the last time you talked to someone you had zero romantic interest in, a cashier, a co-worker, a friend's sister at a gathering. It probably felt easy. No overthinking, no rehearsing your next line before you said it out loud. Here's the irony worth sitting with. You were likely more magnetic in that low-stakes conversation than you were on the date you actually cared about landing. Nothing was riding on it, so you just showed up as yourself. That ease you had completely by accident is the exact thing you're now trying to build on purpose, and it's more available to you than you think because you already know how to access it. And look, this is genuinely unfair, especially if you're an honest, thoughtful guy who isn't trying to manipulate anyone. You just want to be liked, and the sheer weight of wanting it is the very thing getting in your way. A man who cares more ends up performing more, and performing more is exactly what pushes her away. That's a frustrating truth to sit with because it punishes sincerity in a way that feels backwards, but understanding it means you finally know what to actually work on instead of guessing your way through every conversation you have with her. To be clear, none of this means going cold or pulling away to manufacture intrigue. Mystery isn't disengagement. A disengaged man makes her feel unwanted and unsure why he even showed up in the first place. A grounded man makes her feel like there's more to discover, not less to hold on to, because he's not handing over every thought the second he has it. Most dating advice never separates these two things clearly, and that's exactly why so much of it quietly backfires on the men who follow it the most closely, thinking coldness and mystery are the same tool. Here's the catch, and it's the part almost every man misses. Things start going well, the conversation flows, she's leaning in, laughing easily, the energy in the room shifts, and right there, anxiety creeps back in. He wants to lock it down before it slips away. He names the moment out loud, asks if she's feeling it too, needing the reassurance right then instead of letting it breathe on its own a while longer. That single move, naming what was already working, is usually the exact thing that ends it because it turns something effortless back into something that has to be evaluated and answered. The psychologist Harry Rees, whose decades of research focus on what actually builds closeness between two people, has pointed to responsiveness as the real driver of connection. Not performance, not effort, but whether someone feels genuinely seen and understood in a given moment. That's not something you can rehearse the night before. It's a state of mind you either bring into the room with you or you don't, and it shows up in the smallest details, like whether you actually remember what she says or just wait for your turn to talk. Here's the deepest layer of this whole thing. Most men don't actually want connection, respect, or attraction. They want approval. They want proof that they're enough, and they're hoping she's the one who hands them that proof. That need leaks through no matter how well it's disguised behind confidence, humor, or charm, because it changes the way you listen, the way you react, the way you wait for her response before deciding how you feel about the conversation. A woman can sense approval seeking even when every word coming out of your mouth sounds calm and collected. Until that root need is addressed directly, every technique you've ever learned eventually collapses under the weight of it. So go back to that moment in the kitchen, the one where you clocked her laugh and started building a case out of half a second. There are two versions of you in that scene. One is chasing a verdict, replaying the moment, searching for proof he passed. The other is simply choosing to notice what he actually feels about her without needing her to confirm anything first. The second version is the one women consistently move toward, not because he's colder or more guarded, but because he isn't asking her to complete something he's missing in himself. That's the identity that draws people in without ever chasing them. So here's your simple takeaway. Next time you're with her, ask yourself one quiet question without saying it out loud. Am I trying to find out if I like her, or am I trying to find out if she likes me? Whichever one you catch yourself doing, that's exactly where to start. If this gave you something to think about, subscribing genuinely helps this channel keep making videos like this one, and it costs you nothing but a second of your time. I make these every week for men who are done guessing and ready to actually understand what's happening across the table from them, instead of decoding it after the fact. And if you're looking for where to go next, my previous video on how to unlove someone without losing yourself is the perfect follow-up. People who have watched both back-to-back said it all finally clicked. That link is in the description. Let me know in the comments what topic you'd want broken down next. I read all of them.